I'm Yuri.
We're going for a drive.
Lamborghini Huracan Tecnica
with race start. Oh, this is so good.
Horsepower and torque.
631 horsepower, 417 pound-feet of torque from a 5.2 liter naturally aspirated V10. So we're in these Malibu canyons, and let's see what this thing can do out here. And I am so excited to drive this because I think this is the first time we've really been able to push a Huracan in terms of handling. So far, so good, Yuri. You sound a little silent over there.
I don't like this one bit.
This is my favorite thing ever. Yuri, I think I want to buy one right now. I'm sold. I need to buy some real estate in California, I think.
Okay, do me a favor and like legit, just take it easy for a bit.
Okay.
I do not like this at all. I like Ontario roads. I don't like these turns in the passenger seat. Anyone who lives here and takes a ride along is a freaking psychopath.
Okay, anyways, get that out of the way. So handling-wise, this is incredible. Steering is amazing. This feels so light, like ridiculous, because this isn't all-wheel drive. It's just rear wheel, but with rear wheel steering, like this is amazing.
Yeah, when I was ripping through, I mean, I was probably just like going as fast as I felt comfortable.
Oh, I was also equally terrified in the passenger seat with you.
You just got a better poker face, and I can't hide it at all. I do not like.
And we got this lovely 7-speed dual clutch transmission. It shifts so fast. This is straight up lightning. Like, you can't say anything bad about this car. Well, one thing you can. The suspension is a little bit firm. Yes, it's a Lamborghini. Yes, it's the Touring, but it's still a Lamborghini. So, you know.
Okay, so it would be nice if there was a way to like soften it up. But if you put this thing in like
Strata
and automatic, like it actually becomes like pretty chill and a lot more reasonable.
It really does. It does soften the suspension. The exhaust valves close. It puts it into automatic and everything for you. It's actually pleasant to drive this, especially if you're cruising around down the PCH. You don't want to bother anybody. Don't want to bother your passenger with sensitive ears.
You can like have some fun, but like also not scare the bejesus out of everyone.
And although we're enjoying the lovely weather and canyons of California, we actually have a chance to drive some Lamborghinis on some ice in Quebec.
So it turns out Lamborghinis are actually really good at ice drifting. Who would have thought they would let us do this? And at the Winter Accademia, you get to drive the Urises around a figure-8 track. You get to do circles. You get to do it in the rear-wheel drive Evos as well. And these cars are all from like 300,000 up to like just over 500,000. That's how much they cost, and they're letting us drive here. What happens if we wreck one of them?
I don't even want to know.
We don't want to know. We don't want to find out.
But the fact that they have an STO here for us to drive, the STO absolutely rips. No, this is not a Tecnica, but like we said, this is actually the track version, which we're driving on an ice track in Quebec.
Yeah, we got studded tires on here. It handled it so well. I love rear-wheel drive ice drifting. But we also had the Uruses out here, which are all-wheel drive, so we got to do a lot of cool stuff, and with the Performante as well.
Yeah, so we drove the regular Urus, the S, and the Performante, and the Performante stood out the most because it was so stiff. It's kind of a race SUV.
And what else did we drive?
I mean this.
Snowmobiles!
Oh yeah, snowmobiles.
Don't forget the snowmobiles.
Snowmobiles were sick, but especially this.
Yeah, it's wonderful up here at Lake Sakakomi. If you got a chance to come to one of these winter driving experiences, you should definitely do it because it's like really, really cool.
As much fun as we had driving the Tecnica in the Malibu canyons, this is pretty fun out here.
As a Canadian, I'm at home here. You can also go to Italy to do this as well.
Highly recommend wherever you can get your hands on one of these programs. Now the question is, STO or Tecnica? back to the video. So back into sport mode or Corsa, Yuri? Okay, I'm not gonna do that to you. So I'm gonna put it back into sport, which might frighten you a little bit more because sport actually allows for more slip angle than Corsa. Corsa's like racetrack mode for faster lap times. Sport's for more fun.
Yeah, I feel like in sport mode, the exhaust valve like kind of doesn't fully open up until you're past like 3,000 RPM.
Yeah, so if I really chill it out right now, no exhaust valve, call out the RPMs, Yuri, while I drive.
3,000, 3.5, 4.
There
So
you
it
go.
opens up at 4.
Yeah, so otherwise it's pretty reasonable, unless you go to 9,000. And it will automatically upshift for you if you are in sport mode, even if you press the manual button, but you have to go to Corsa to then have full manual control, so you don't actually have to upshift, but I kind of like doing it.
Yeah, I mean, always upshift. Even if you miss, as long as it doesn't overlap.
I like sport mode. And then we don't have an individual mode like we do in a Aventador or even a Urus, I believe.
And I like how the gauge cluster pretty much stays the same throughout all the modes. It doesn't feel like you're missing out on a cool gauge cluster by not driving in race mode with everything off and the stiffest suspension.
Right, because this is still basically a track car, just softened up a little bit. And the brakes are carbon ceramics, like they work really well.
Yeah.
So the Huracan Tecnica is like the 911 GT3 Touring, whereas the STO is like the GT3. So this has been softened up a little bit and it looks a little bit less crazy.
And this one is rear wheel drive with rear wheel steering.
Yeah, so it makes it pretty nimble through these canyons.
And there's some other Huracans like the Evo rear wheel drive, Spider, and then the Sterrato and the STO.
We've driven basically all of them at this point, except the Sterrato, which is the off-road version. So this is one of the last V10 naturally aspirated Lamborghinis that you can buy, and this is actually probably the last one that's road going that isn't the Sterrato.
And there's a bunch of Lamborghinis on tsp.truecar.com. Big shout out to TrueCar for hosting us in California so we could drive a bunch of cars down here that we can't because it's winter in Toronto.
Yeah, there's actually a lot of used Huracans on tsp.truecar.com, so let us know the best deal that you guys can find on one of these in the comments below.
I wouldn't mind a used 2014 in yellow.
I wouldn't either. Like, any Huracan is a good one because they all have this V10. Downshift tunnel. Oh, that echo. That's so good. California, your tunnels, your everything out here.
Yeah.
Mountains, canyons, oceans.
This is a big culture shock for me.
Yeah, this is insane.
Supercars in California.
It's so sick. No wonder everyone buys them out here on tsp.truecar.com.
But I haven't seen a Tecnica out on California yet.
No, we did see an STO on Ocean Avenue, so that was pretty cool. Another tunnel, sorry. Okay.
Those brakes are good.
Let's get to the looks.
I like the front end. I think it looks cool the way they made it, the black part go like diagonals. It looks like the
Sion.
Yes.
So Mitya Borkert, who is the head designer, he actually gave me a tour of one of these, of the green one in Toronto when it launched. So he pointed out a lot of interesting things in terms of design elements with the hexagons, like the exhaust, for example. The exhaust is hexagons, which is really cool.
Yeah, well, Lamborghini loves their hexagons.
Yeah, and they move them up just kind of similar to the Performante, but not like the regular Huracans where they were lower down.
I think it's pretty cool how they took the Huracan shape that's been around for a while and then kind of blacked it out right down the center and then added the black on the hood to make it look a lot tighter.
Exactly, and then they also lengthened the front end just a little bit to give it just a totally different shape. They also changed a lot of crazy stuff around the side, like the air intakes behind the windows, which is totally different than other regular Huracans.
Yeah, and then we've got this like flat piece of window there instead of it going all the way down so that you can get a closer look at the engine bay.
Yeah, he wanted children to be able to press their faces up to the glass and see the engine. And that is the coolest thing I've heard any designer ever say.
So what you're saying is Lamborghinis need to let kids crawl over their cars.
Yes.
When they're cool,
Yeah.
not when they're hot.
Yeah, definitely not when they're hot.
Do you like the wheels?
I love the wheels, and they are center lock as well.
And what would be the Continental recommended tire for a Lamborghini?
The Extreme Contact Sport 02.
Do you like that little red strip all along the bottom?
I'm not in love with it, but it makes sense for this spec with all the red on the interior as well.
Do you like this gray color of the paint?
Yeah, this Grigio Accesso, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly, $16,500 for this matte paint. That's a lot of money. I'm not in love with it. However, because everything is matte, like there's not a single gloss part of the front
Just
end.
the headlights are glossy. That's about it.
It kind of looks cool. It looks like fake video game car.
I can see if you've had your bright Lamborghini, you would go with a more muted Lamborghini.
Yes, but the green is that's nice.
Yeah, that green one you had in Toronto was like,
Yeah, the launch spec is the one to get pretty much always. Even though you can customize the heck out of these things.
okay, do you like the wing on the back?
Yeah, it's fitting. It's not too big, not too small. It's not as crazy as the STO. It's good.
But yo, for real, I do like the look of the STOs, and I love that stripe that goes along like the bumper at the front and everything.
The STO is
It almost looks like lips or whatever. I think those look so cool.
And back to the front end of this one, there's actually there's no grill or anything like that. So I'm a little bit worried with like stone chips and stuff, but I think it'll be okay.
Like the rads are back here.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure there's more rads there.
Probably.
Rads everywhere.
Yes, gotta keep this V10 cool. And one of the cooler parts for me of the rear bumper is how they kind of took away some of the body panels so you can see more of the tires from the rear end. Kind of Countach-ish, but not.
Oh, by the way, new Countach, I love it.
That thing is sick.
After seeing all like the deliveries online of people
Yeah.
getting there, it's like, man.
Like when it launched, I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. And then I kind of forgot about it. And then I saw the deliveries too. I'm like, damn, that is sick.
What color Countach would you take?
White.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing.
100%.
It's just so classic.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt Farrow, with your red Countach of the original Countach.
I'd go red, original Countach, white, new Countach.
So if Matt Farrow got a Countach, he would have to get it in white to match his red one. That's the perfect garage. So enough with the driving and the exterior. Let's get you behind the wheel of this lovely Tecnica.
But first, don't forget to subscribe.
Yes, definitely subscribe so that we can keep going to California for more trips.
I want to get out here and do a Buick.
Really?
Wow, we haven't done a Buick yet.
Yeah, okay. I'd like to get back out here to do an Aventador and scare the living F out of you.
I'm not gonna go. I'm just gonna stay in my hotel room. Normal launch. Something about Lamborghini. Oh, I know what it is. It's the V10.
Yeah, that's what it is. So to get into actual race start mode, I had to turn off the traction fully. So you actually got a better launch because you had ESC Sport.
Yeah, and I fed it in. I didn't just floor it. Look, man, this is like a lot of car that I'm not used to driving. All right, so I'm gonna rip through a bit in Strada and automatic to see what it's like if you were just like, you know, maybe bored of Lamborghinis all the time and just wanted to take an easy stroll through the mountains.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to not fall asleep.
And it definitely doesn't downshift as fast as like I kind of want to.
Well, that's
but
why you have the other modes.
I know, that's what I'm saying Strada is like. So after this corner, it's like, you know what, I am a little bit more awake. Let's go to Sport.
Oh, here we go. Wake me up. Send it, Yuri.
I'm going, it's dusty. I don't know how this dust reacts.
How does it handle, Yuri?
It handles perfect. I don't know, man. Chill out. All right. Like, what am I supposed to say about handling?
Everything you want. We're in the canyons. This isn't Cliche Corner.
I am just enjoying myself, and I definitely can't go as fast as these canyons are capable of.
How good does this thing sound, though? V10?
It's perfect. Like, there are other supercar competitors, and I don't know if they're going to sound as good.
No, a lot of them have turbos at this point, so...
And I really like the sounds of McLarens and stuff, so I think this sounds better than a McLaren to me, too.
Oh, yeah. V10 for life, Yuri. There we go.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's perfect. There's nothing I can say besides it's really fun.
If anyone can hear anything at this point.
And I'm not a race car driver.
The best part of this is like the sound is just reverberating in here. So I actually, when I was driving by myself earlier, I noticed it reverberating off these carbon fiber interior panels. And then the engine configuration is a little bit different than other Huracans. So we actually have the glass over here.
But yeah, for rear-wheel drive, this feels so not sketchy at all.
No, not at all.
I really enjoy this. I think this is like a great all-around for handling. And I don't know what other car I could go faster through there in, like personally. Maybe an RS6. I just like that all-wheel drive system.
All-wheel drive, yeah.
All right, so then this interior, very similar to the Huracan Evo that we drove.
Yeah, relatively similar, other than the swath of carbon fiber everywhere and these door pulls. Come on.
Yeah, so that's an option. You can get like normal fabric door panels.
Interesting. And these floors are full out carbon fiber. You can actually see the carbon fiber. But if you didn't want to see the carbon fiber, you can get yourself a set of TuxMat for a Huracan. Go to tuxmat.com/TheStraightPipes.
And then these seats are the sport seats, and yeah, real talk, they're like pretty aggressive.
They are pretty aggressive, but they're not that bad.
My back is not in as much pain as I thought it would be, considering I have back pain issues.
Yeah, like they're still padded and they're obviously well bolstered. Like no real problem with this. And then this sgancho, I believe is how you pronounce that, although that kind of put a Mexican twist on it. Obviously it's Italian. It means release. So
Yeah.
basically that's how you move the seat forward and back.
It makes sense that it's all manual adjustment seats, but if it was like a touring car, this is kind of the touring version, like, you know, full comfort and electronic seats would be my preference.
I get that.
So then there's infotainment too. It's just like the Huracan Evo. We got the vertical screen. This one actually has Alexa, which would be pretty cool, I guess, if you got like your whole house wired up, and if you're super rich, you probably do.
Yeah, and then we have Apple CarPlay as well. I believe we have Android Auto.
Yeah, vertical one, satellite radio, all the good stuff, and then pretty much nothing else, like no filler, nothing you don't need in here.
Yeah, and then you have hard buttons like you have in all the other Huracans, and the most important one in this car being the nose lift, which we have the option of, and you 100% have to get that.
Yeah, especially in California.
Yes.
Actually, I don't know where you wouldn't need one. Maybe Arizona? Is Arizona chill?
I don't really know.
I feel like they had really nice roads when we went.
Yeah.
And then another fun thing that I noticed in here, we have a fire extinguisher.
Yes, we do, right behind me.
I feel like that's a valid thing to have.
Does that make you feel more comfortable or less comfortable?
Man, I think like every car should have a fire
Yeah,
extinguisher.
I think more comfortable as well.
Okay, sound system, pretty all right, gets the job done.
Sound system's back here, Yuri. The V10.
Okay, carbon fiber, you must love it.
Love
like,
it.
everywhere
And
here.
red,
Red's
come on.
Very similar spec to that Bentley we also drove on our trip out here.
Yes, watch some of our other videos from our California trip.
And there's no storage for pretty much anything. I gotta put my stuff in a fanny pack and wedge it between the seat.
Yes.
And then we don't have any cup holders.
No, we don't. So I have my water bottle down here.
Do you like these?
Does it fit? Yes, it does down here.
The coffee won't fit.
No.
Visors?
Yeah, let's. Oh, that's a full
That's
fail.
supercar pass.
Supercar pass.
Very supercar pass.
As everyone knows, we've tested the Huracan multiple times. It is a supercar.
And then again, I love the gauge cluster. I like that you've got the reverse camera in there and that you don't have CarPlay in there. I like when they're both separate.
Yeah.
And no head-up display. Don't want it, don't need it. Love the Alcantara, so there's no reflections of black. Unlike Corvettes, which have like bright red, which just like reflects into your eyes.
Exactly. And then the steering wheel is Alcantara as well with the red stripe. And then the steering wheel also has your turn signals and all that fun stuff. It's really well laid out.
And then if you could spec out your own Tecnica, would you do door pulls or would you prefer just a normal handle?
100% door pulls. Make people know that this is a lightweight race car.
And even though you have nowhere to put your elbow on the left except for this hard thing.
Yeah, I did notice that as well. I was like, you know what? It's a race car.
Like, I'm starting to think that if I was a Lamborghini owner, I'd be like on the softer side, you know?
Yeah.
And then front space, we actually have like a pretty decent sized front. If there was nothing in there, you could probably fit a carry-on just fine in there.
For sure you could.
So with actually being able to drive it in proper canyons in more than one turn, let's get to the price.
This one starts at $239,000.
American.
And this one is sitting at $330,095. That's pretty reasonable, I think.
V10.
Yeah.
V10.
You can't put a price on this smile.
Out of all of the Huracans, which one would you take? Would you take this over an STO or a Storado?
I haven't driven an STO.
Use your imagination. Or an Evo.
This suspension being already as stiff as it is, and the STO apparently is even stiffer, this is kind of the perfect Huracan. Although I would be totally fine with like a rear-wheel drive regular Huracan from anyone before.
Yeah, I'll find a used one on tsp.truecar.com.
Yeah, like a Performante. That was sick.
I think I'd have to go Storado, even though it's ridiculous. Like,
it's kind of the point of it.
I think that's just like way cooler.
Yeah, I get
than anything ever.
Yeah. So let us know which one you guys would take, any version of the Huracan, and how upset are you that this might be one of the last V10 naturally aspirated Lamborghinis ever.